you to your Hello, everyone. This show is brought to you by Portal to Ascension and your host, Joan of Angels. This is also a production of Portal to Ascension, the New Living Expo, and the Mystery Cruise at Sea. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. Now, to stay informed about all of our events, visit portaltoascension.org. Now, have you ever felt a message inside you, a mission, a truth, a voice, just waiting to reach the world? But you weren't sure how to give it wings. So today we are talking about the art of turning your spiritual calling into real world impact. So now, hi everyone. I'm Dr. Joan Hangarter. Most people know me as Joan of Angels. I've been connected with Neil and Portal to Ascension since 2011 when I did readings at his very first in-person event years ago. But that moment launched a 14-year friendship. We've been cosmic collaborators ever since. We've been traveling around the world, creating, dreaming big, and following the magic wherever it leads. And so now I'm very honored to be the executive producer of New Living Expo, and we are bringing in some of the most amazing and inspiring voices in consciousness, healing, UFOs, and galactic awareness. So for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I work with people who are waking up, but they're not fully clear about what they're doing, their purpose or their mission. And I help them activate their divine soul blueprint so they can connect with why they're really here and actually start living the life they came here to do. So after 45 years as a doctor of chiropractic, a counselor, and intuitive, I know this. When you remember who you are, everything in your life begins to shift. You can reach out to me at joanofangels.com. All right, taking a deep breath in and diving in, let's take a moment to tune into the bigger picture. We're going to show you a short video about the mystery cruise to Greece, and then we'll be talking about it with our upcoming guest, Debbi Dachinger.
Portal to Ascension proudly presents the second annual conference at sea. Step aboard the Celebrity Infinity for Mystery School at Sea, an extraordinary 10-day voyage through the mystical lands of ancient Greece and Turkey, sailing from March 20th to 30th, 2026. Journey through the sacred sites of the ancients, Nafplio, Heraklion, Rhodes, Kavala, Thessaloniki, Ephesus, Athens, and more, where cosmic wisdom, lost civilizations, and divine knowledge converge. Featuring world-renowned authors, researchers, and channelers, guiding you into the deep memory of these sacred lands, unlocking past lives, sacred geometry, and the hidden consciousness of the ages. Immerse yourself in transformative lectures, hands-on workshops, and exclusive special events, each custom-tailored to help you remember that you are an initiate of the Mystery School. This isn't just a cruise, it's a portal to higher awareness, an awakening to the wisdom encoded in your soul. Are you ready to remember?
I get the chills whenever I see that one. So we're going to show you a little bit more about the New Living Expo next, and then we're going to bring on our speaker.
The world is changing faster than ever before, and within this evolution, a new consciousness is rising. At the New Living Expo, thousands gather to expand consciousness, explore new conscious technologies, ancient wisdom, and the future of human potential. Immerse yourself in 3 days of heart-expanding wisdom and mind-binding awareness, with over 90 speakers sharing tools to awaken your highest potential. 125 exhibitors, 3,000 attendees, awakened souls, unite in one powerful weekend of learning, healing, and connection. Experience transformation, connection, and the next chapter of human evolution. It is time for humanity to awaken. Join us at newlivingexpo.com.
Wow, amazing. Join us next year at New Living Expo, guys. It is going to be a powerhouse of awakening. So welcome back, everyone. And today I have the joy of introducing someone whose work really bridges the mystical, the creative, the cosmic, and the deeply practical. Debbi Dachinger, our next guest, is a powerhouse communicator and a deeply trained shamanic practitioner. She helps spiritual messengers transform their soul's calling into books, interviews, and platforms that carry their message across the world. And for over 17 years, she has hosted the award-winning Dare to Dream podcast, diving into UFOs, channeling, psychic phenomena, and the multidimensional nature of our reality. In addition, she's a certified shamanic energy practitioner. She's an international best-selling actor, speaker, teacher, and the luminous voice of the medicine band of Lyra. She's a rare being who could both sit at the microphone with total professionalism and then lead a ceremony that can shift the entire field. So she's absolutely amazing. Let's bring on Debbi. It is so exciting to see you, Debbi.
Yes, it's been so long.
Well, yes, we were on a panel the other day, but it has been so long. Let's think about it. It's been lifetimes since we really have been together. That's what I want to say. And I'm so happy to have you here. I love your show. I love what you do. I think you're a fantastic host of all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you're welcome, sweetheart. So now I have a lot of questions for you. So one of the things I admire most about you is that actually, on one level, you're very pragmatic. You help, you help podcast hosts and YouTubers get shows out and book them, and you have your most amazing show. And you're seamless at it, by the way. And you're also a shamanic healer and a shaman. Like, how do you act, and a Lyran? So how do you combine all of this?
Yeah, it's a fair question. And, I basically replicate myself and put portions of me in charge of things. I mean, the truth is that I've actually been on radio for 18 years, and I got into writing books. I got into helping people, coaching them to write books, taking their books to guaranteed international bestseller, and also do the podcasting you mentioned, meaning getting people booked, spiritual messengers, really getting them booked on podcasts to be interviewed. But then I had this very unexpected awakening. And when I had this very unexpected awakening to a piece of myself and a truth on the planet and the cosmos, most unexpected, because I came from being so deeply spiritual, and it turns out that wasn't the entire story, right? So this was such a surprise, and because I didn't understand how to navigate information that was being given to me, I went on this journey for about a year or so to try to understand what this information was about. And because I'm a researcher, it really helped. And I also aligned myself with some spectacular people to sort of crack open what was being given to me. And by virtue of doing that, I came to know myself as a healer for the first time in my life. Never imagined that for myself. Was friends with healers, interviewed healers, but me, no. And so that was a piece of it, the shamanic piece, the galactic piece, like all this stuff started coming online. And I incorporated that. The world needs healers right now. So I show up and I do these 90-minute healing sessions once a month. People from around the world come and join, and we have massive shifts, even me. And then I'm starting to teach shamanism level 1. January 6th, I rolled that out because previous I heard nope, nope, nope. And then all of a sudden I got the download. Now it's time. We need more healers in the world. We need more people who understand the indigenous and the shamans and the practices. So that's that piece. And everything else, honestly, Joan, flows. Like Rob and I did Lions of Lyra is our band, and we sang at a gig on Saturday, but we don't have a gig every day. We're going to sing on the cruise. We're going to do actually a mystery school concert in honor of the cruise. And so that stuff just sort of flows. It does take a lot of practice. Most people think we just show up and do it. We don't. It's a lot of practice to get to a gig. And then every portion therein, I also feel like the universe extracts things and gets my attention by saying, you're done with these, sweetheart. And now we can all focus on this. And, I just follow energy and it always works out.
I love that. So actually, as a result of some of the work you were doing with all the speakers and the hosting, you were called to dive into your own shamanic healing experiences.
Yes. Tell me the question. Help me.
That wasn't a question yet. I was just like reflecting that back.
Mm-hmm.
But what kinds of inner shifts then, like, did you go through in terms of like really shifting like this?
It was pretty big. I mean, first of all, I didn't believe in extraterrestrials. And I thought that people who did were a little mental. I'm being very
honest. God.
It was deep.
True confessions.
Because I was a huge eye roller. And so that was one piece. And then how do you treat yourself through a huge awakening like that? Like, oh my God, there are other species, there are other planets with life forms. I've been those other life forms. I'm concurrently, multidimensionally that. And then same thing with the shamanism. That was very difficult for me because I had a lot of humility around it. I understood what it took to become a shaman, that it was years, decades of dedication, and that one doesn't just wake up and say, I'm a shaman, but instead they're appointed by spirit, they're appointed by their community, and they go through horrific, honestly, initiations like near-death experiences, complete mental breakdowns. They get struck by lightning. They go into a trance, a psychic trance, and they meet with a ferocious animal who will literally eat and dismember them and then blow them back into being with gifts. And I'm looking at people who lived in jungles and drunk things and done things and are indigenous. And I'm like, I'm a white girl from New York and California. What's going on? I don't think I could own this. But thankfully, we live in a world right now for all of us. We can align ourselves with magnificent people who do deep work, whether it's hypnosis or timeline regressions or, and I actually was an eye roller about a lot of that too. Honestly, I just don't think things are going to work for me. And I was aligned with someone magnificent who was able to get me in a minute into releasing this life form. And I was able to see in various sessions my life as an indigenous male shaman, and to see myself as a galactic priestess of the Mayans, and all these different aspects. Like, I have been this in so many lifetimes. It's very near and dear to my heart. And then that led to these enormous downloads about, oh my God, the galactic species have been in contact and helping the shamans forever. Since the inception. Oh my God, the shamans aren't even from here. The indigenous are actually from other planets. Oh my God, isn't this interesting? What they have taught us, and we're right up against it right now. Everybody, I think, can say with confidence, we are at a point of choosing where we're going to go. Are we going to thrive as humans? Are we going to destroy this planet, or are we going to make all new choices and really get it right, to love one another, to honor, to respect the earth too, that she's not just a resource? And what have the indigenous been saying since the beginning of time? This very thing. They never take from the earth without giving. They don't abuse animals. They don't abuse the ocean, the sky, the mountains, plants, all of it. And so I started to understand they really do hold the secrets, and they're so simple, and there's so many ways to heal around this. So it's time to listen to them. And So yes, it was aligning myself with magnificent people, and it was enrolling with some of the greatest shamans around the world. And really it was for the information. Like, could you explain this thing to me? And I went into it just for the info, but I changed massively. My friends were all like, you're not even the same person. I wasn't. Like, cellular level, this information changed me and the practices.
I'm blown away by your story, okay? Because you're sharing a real truth about awakening. Mm-hmm. That a lot of people go through awakening and they don't go for all the guides, but it feels like it's been life-changing. So how did you deal with when you started to discover that you had all these extraterrestrial roots, especially your Lyran? And I know you know a lot about their history. How did that all fall, work with you here?
It made so much sense, Joan, and it was so exciting to me, to find out that my soul was, to put it mildly, Elohim, but that I was very much in concert with God's source. And that made so much sense to me. Creator of things, creator of planets. Creation and manifestation has been woven through all my lifetimes. And then to find out Antares and Andromeda and Lyra a lot, and some of the Pleiades where the Mayan took place, those incarnations, and I'm sure so much more, dragon civilizations. It makes so much sense. You think about the things you're attracted to, whether, maybe you have dragon sculptures and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I have been there. I have been that. I have had relationship with, as well as a human had relationship with dragons, been an actual dragon, all these amazing things. And it starts to make so much sense with my life. And also because every one of these incarnations, they had communication and frequency in common. And so in most of these lives, it was about healing with frequency, with being, but with what I was emitting. It was still about singing. It was still about communicating, leading through that. And here I am. That is still what I do. In many different ways. I still sing, I still lead, I still teach, I get taught, all of that. So I feel like it made more sense. We have so many tools like astrology, human design, and like, oh my God, my galactic lineage. And that is a big piece for me.
I think this is really exciting, Debbi. Hold on, I just think I've lost you for a second. There we are. Okay. So Debbi, that's quite interesting. Very, very fascinating. So how do you feel like this disclosure is happening now on the planet? And how is that waking up people? Like what's your kind of feeling about when disclosure is going to happen and how this awakening is going forward?
It's a really interesting time. And there's so much I could say about that. Whistleblowers are coming forward. They're telling some of the story. They're not telling all of the story. Understandably, many of them are afraid for their lives. I think the government is incredibly silly. I think places like the deep state, it's like, come on, it's 2025. You've been doing this since the 1940s. Part of it was to stop people from panicking should they, God forbid, know the truth that they're not alone in the universe. But we aren't. And so they've kept a lot of this to themselves, and then a lot of it also for greed and technology. But it's really time. They're a big piece, by the way, with disclosure of creating harmony and peace on this earth. So I think God bless the whistleblowers who are brave enough to come forward. God bless the people. I get sent things that are kind of mind-blowing. People in the military who step forward. I'm going to be interviewing somebody in the military who, he's been on a lot of planets. He's been on Inner Earth, and this guy is super legit. I think it's about platforms like mine that are giving voices to people like this. And I think the work we're doing, you and I right here, even talking about it, bringing it to light, is a big part. And the other piece of it is more of the unseen, more of the people, because there's massive amounts of people waking up who are coming forward and saying, I had this experience. I was with a UFO. I was taken aboard a ship. There's a huge amount of stories of them reconnecting with their galactic family. I believe that's mostly what's going on. And I think it's a really exciting time because I think we, the people, are accelerating disclosure by conversing about it, waking up to it, and absolutely talking about our experiences with it.
I think it's kind of interesting. The more that they've tried to hide it from us, the more people are so much more interested. And I think the reason they hide it from us is they don't want us to wake up. But people are waking up anyway. Like the more they hide it from us, the more curious we get. And
True.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true. I like how you said that because it's almost like they say why some people are really attracted to somebody, right, romantically, when they're not just giving everything all at once, but they're holding a little bit back. And in this case, it's the government. It's holding back. People can feel the energy of that. And then they're becoming even more interested, like, well, what's going on? Plus all the anomalies, drones, whether they're government or not, over New Jersey, and all the things that have taken place in Brazil, Virginia, and so forth. It's undeniable that there's something happening. Also, the comets right now, BB, AI Atlas, all of this, anomaly, nothing like we've seen before. And is it consciousness? And is it, and science and metaphysics have a bit of an argument about that and somewhere in between. And then there's all these channelers weighing in. But I think no matter what, we can all sense, no, this is unprecedented. And I know what I get from this, besides the fact that it's a beautiful messenger, it means absolutely no harm to us, information gatherer, aware of us, aware of many civilizations, that it has traveled so long, I feel, to be a beautiful representative, a little beacon to say, guess what's next? Guess what's next? Because nobody flipped out. Nobody panicked over watching this. Everybody got fascinated and we're talking about it. And I really feel like with what's coming down the pike, real connection, becoming part of the galactic community, extraterrestrials who are benevolent starting to reveal themselves. This is the way, these little pockets of being shown, we do exist, we are out there, we are not you, we are very different, you can't even figure what we're made out of, or maybe, etc. So it's exciting to me. And I thank those comets for being the forefront of what's to come next.
Well, it certainly has woken up a lot of people also, and the discussion has been quite fascinating because we have the actual disclosure. These are real comets, and yet we know that they're also activating us in that sense. And so there's sort of a combination there, I think, that's pretty helpful to this awakening process that we're going through. So let's kind of keep looking at this. So I know that you've been recently on Gaia TV, which congratulations, by the way. That's an amazing coup to be on. I don't know how it felt, but I'm curious about it. But you were talking about the ant people, right?
I've been on twice. Mm-hmm. And the last time, well, I actually, I was giving this incredible history over 500,000 or 500 million years on Earth. And I was giving some archaeology and where we can see the extraterrestrials have been on this planet before and all these sites. And at some point, because both interviews were with George Noory on Beyond Belief, he, he loves to throw a little bit of spice in there. And out of nowhere, he said, tell me about the ant people. And, I'm still a little obsessed with all of that. That's one of the things I'm talking about with this military gentleman coming on the show soon. And So I have to tell you, Joan, how did it feel? I mean, it's magnificent. I love the people at Gaia. They are beautiful. I become friends with some of them. And it felt amazing that the platform interest in my message, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the people who saw the 2 episodes, and that I can give a voice to things that exist that people may not contemplate. When I first came upon the information, Hollow Earth, again, I'm telling you, maybe it's a gift and a wound, but I don't ever drink the Kool-Aid. I don't go, oh, really? I'm not a conspiracy person at all, don't have the energy for it. But I'm not someone to come aboard very quickly. I really have to see proof. And so when I heard things like Agartha, Hollow Earth, and Shambhala, and all the other names, and what that meant, well, aren't I lucky? I have a friend who worked for the German government specifically regarding UFOs. Oh, and he's confirmed this, that they exist and have been seen, these ant beings. And I want to be very clear, they're not literal ants that are suddenly 5 feet tall, because that's about how tall they are. They are actually a species, another planetary species, but they very much resemble an ant. And they also have behavior like an ant because they work together toward a common goal. So they're, can't call them worker bees because they're not bees, but worker ants, right? Very much of a hive mind. And they can portal to Mars. They can portal to the moon. They've also got sites on the moon where they live underground, on top of ground. They really haven't wanted to connect with us that much, although they have reached out to certain types of beings on this planet that they were interested in, including the military, who's had many visits with them. They're not here indefinitely, but they've been here a very long time. They live in something so gorgeous. I really hope to visit it in this lifetime. When you go through this etheric portal into the cave, you go to a place that could hold 3 million people potentially. And I want to say something about that. Back at the time, this earth has gone through several cataclysms. We had a cataclysm where the fire raged over the earth, scorched everything, burned everything, everyone, done. We had a time where it was called the Ice Age. We had a time where it was all floods. Now, during these times, the Hopi Indians were aware, because indigenous are so connected to the earth and the cosmos and everything. They knew something was going to happen to wipe out the entire planet. And so they would see a very odd cloud at night, and they would follow that cloud. They knew it was a sign. And then during the day, they would follow another cloud. And then at night, it was a particular star, always guiding them. And they took a journey trusting these nature signs until they came to the cave portal. The ant beings came out and welcomed them. Now, the story is that the ant beings knew in advance that the Hopi Indian were virtuous people. And that's a very interesting word, because virtuous it feels a little religious. So I went inside and said, what would virtuous mean to me? And I thought it would mean someone of their word, someone who does have respect, someone who knows how to treat others, who knows how to heal, who knows that this earth isn't all and can transcend it. And indeed, that's exactly what it was for the ant beings. They were well aware of the Hopis, and they invited them in to save them into these caves. The caves are lit from within. They have their own way of creating light, their own sun. They have a tree of life. And in the tree of life, there are actual seeds that, total longevity. They have waters. They have everything. Storage, animals, plants, food. They taught the Hopi Indians how to create storage. The Hopis did not know that before. And the Hopis stayed with them until that particular cataclysm on the earth had passed. And then at that point, they had a choice. Who would want to go back and repopulate the earth, on top of Terra and who wanted to stay with the ant beings. And there was a mixture. But I talk about how huge these caverns are, that it could potentially hold 3 million people because a lot of the Hopi Indians came. And even today, the Hopis still celebrate the ant beings. There are pictures of them on the rocks. They still have celebrations and rituals honoring them and what they did for their people, but also the relationship they have with them. And there's many other beings that have been fortunate enough to meet these ant beings. They're incredibly honest, and so forth. And I think it's also really important because the deeper I get into this, whether it's reptilian, whether it's draconian, whether it is an ant being, there's a plethora, there's a buffet, just like there are of humans. And we might look at some humans and saying, those are not good humans. And we might look at some humans and think those are wonderful humans. Bad singer, bad lawyer, good lawyer, all this stuff. But it is like this with the species. So I'm talking about a particular species of ant beings. There are many different species. Some I wouldn't care to meet. They have a different agenda from a different universe. But these ones who have occupied Hollow Earth here with us, yes, they're very benevolent.
Amazing. Simply amazing, Debbi. So what have you had contact yourself with them?
Not yet.
I ask you that. I'm so interested about the ant people because I met a man years and years ago that I knew was of an insect race. Just I could see looking at him and the way he just like was all about structure, as if I was looking at like the toys that kids use for building, that somehow he was like all about structure and building stuff. And I found it really fascinating. And that was when I first became aware that there were like insectoid races. But now you're talking about the ant races. How would we know if we're connected to the ant races?
A lot of people, that's a great question. A lot of people do hypnosis. So, for instance, Barbara Lamb did a lot of hypnosis, and a lot of people might know her. She's a brilliant, brilliant woman, a forerunner in all of this. And she had a client who came and was talking about the beings who would visit her at night. And she would talk about it with great fear, as though they were going to abduct her and something terrible was going to happen. But then when she got separated from the experience while in the hypnosis state, she started really slowing down time so she could see what was going on. And she realized these beings don't look like us. Oh, they look like ants. Oh, I can feel them. They're kind. They are connected to me. They just want to reconnect. They have some wisdom, some things to share with me. And once she realized that, she was actually excited to go to sleep and to invite them in and say, I'm here for it. I understand better what's going on, rather than responding with fear. Same thing happened with Dolores Cannon. And the stories from QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, that she got over the decades of her amazing work with people, finding out, people are literally particles and clouds and animals and planets and beings. It's beautiful how much is out there. It's limitless. And so she also would put people under who had experiences with the ant people. And you can have these etheric visits, but you can also have these real in person. Most people won't. I know of somebody who came upon them by accident while walking in a forest in another country. I also know, I don't have permission to say this, but she's all of our friends, Marilyn Gavicki, who channels Zazar. As soon as Marilyn heard me talking about the ant people, she came up to me and said, I need you to know I've seen them. I know them. So people over time, after they saw me on Gaia, were writing to me, and they have had experiences. So I believe that the ant people are very aware of who they reveal themselves to for great purpose.
I think so. Well, do you think some of the other races are also that aware? Of who they're revealing themselves to?
Ha,
I mean,
1,000%.
right. And so
1,000%. Yeah.
who do you think that they are showing themselves to?
I think, again, the virtuous people. I really do believe, look, these are way advanced races, right? They have knowledge. This isn't about what I'm going to say and is she telling the truth and does she really show up and does she have no integrity? Forget it. These beings know the heart, know what's going on inside of somebody. And they're very clear because they also have to protect their race. And it's so important to remember that all of the extraterrestrial civilizations that are living in our oceans is considerable. All of the species that are living inside hollow earth, way beyond the ant people, is considerable. Most of them are not interested in us. They have their own agendas. There's experiments being run, there's hybrid programs, and nobody has to worry because they don't care about you. This is something on a whole different level that doesn't involve human beings, but they have been occupying tremendous amounts of this planet we're on, maybe since the beginning of time, maybe way before us. So if they are to reveal themselves, it is with great awareness. I know when they revealed themselves to the military, they had very strict boundaries about it. And interestingly enough, there were a few people, regular type people, they wanted to invite. And the shamans, they had the shamans first on the list. And then there was somebody who was like a lama of Asian descent, that sort of thing. It was very few people. And even this military guy, they really trusted him. He messed up a little. Also because as an act of good faith, they gave from the tree one of these seeds I had talked about that creates longevity and heals. And they gave this to him for him. He's a youngish guy. And because he's such a military dude, he went right back all the way to the top and said, look, they gave this, to us. And what does the military do? Basically what they always do, they send it somewhere so it can be dissected, bisected, broken down. What are the chemical compounds? Can we replicate this? And all this stuff. Did anybody go tell the ant beings? No. But the next time the military guy went to visit them, they wouldn't let him in. They knew, and they were very disappointed in him that they gave him a gift and he bastardized it, really. So he had to make some recompense for that and a lot of amends to get back again with them because he really is a good person. He just thought he was doing the right thing. But they're very stringent, very protective for good reason. And they have their own agenda. And if they're going to let somebody in, it's because also it's benefit both ways.
Well, it's so interesting, Debbie, because I don't think most humans are aware of how populated the planet is with other beings. They know that we have fish and trees and animals, but they don't have an idea that there could be other races living here.
Yeah. The government's aware. They've been looking at this at least since the 40s. And thank you. So there's so much information, but succinctly just to say, I was interviewed by a documentary film company for Netflix out of Canada, and they flew me up about this. And, because I'm a journalist and I'm a researcher, the deeper I go into this and with very legit resources, it is not a one and done story. Layer upon layer upon layer, potentially suns upon suns, layers within the earth, species and all these different layers cohabitating for their own personal reasons. And most of them portal to have the advanced means to go where they need to go throughout universes. And it's, in a way, it's very beautiful how insignificant we are because we make ourselves so important that we're at war over so many things when in fact, really, when they say that the extraterrestrials are aware of nuclear possibilities and they're always coming, when somebody has a finger on something stupidly, that they dismantle the warhead. They stop the nuclear fusion. They end what could possibly happen. Nobody could press anything, right? This has happened time and time again. Many people in the military have stepped forward and talked about this, but it's also so much greater than that. It's not just what it'll do to the cosmos, because it would have horrific impact on everything and everyone, but it's also so many beings that occupy this earth besides us. They just can't have that happen. They love Earth maybe way more than we do.
Well, they probably, you know what? They probably do, because they have more of a resonance than we do. And they go deeper than, this is humanity in general. So I do believe that's true. Have you had contact with any of the beings that are in the inner earth then?
No, but I keep feeling it's a yet, because I'm really desiring that. I'm a pretty good manifester. And I do believe they would feel who I am. And that is really possible. And I am really hoping, I'm being very hesitant because it's kind of a big subject, but to talk about, but I'll just say this last piece. I'm really hoping potentially with this military person that something might be possible.
Okay, well, that sounds exciting, number one. And number two, as you were talking, I just had this flash that you're really becoming a spokesperson of certain groups. Like the way you were talking about the ant people and their history. Really, you're speaking for them. You're protecting them in a lot of ways. So I feel like you're becoming a spokesperson.
Yeah, I feel that way strongly for the extraterrestrials. You bring up Gaia TV, Joan, and I'll just say, I was just plodding along and I was doing the research, working with these shamans, finding out more about myself and what does it mean to be a shaman and what are these practices. And literally out of nowhere, I got an invitation to speak at a World Ufology event. And I thought, how do they know me? Like, I didn't pitch myself. That's super interesting. And I said yes. I had a presentation. And before I left, Gaia, the first time, reached out and said, we'd like to interview you. I'm like, what? I mean, I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought I'm being punked. And so I wrote back just to see what would happen. And they got their travel agent in touch with me. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So this became this unprecedented thing of getting suddenly invited to podcasts and stages. And it hasn't stopped. And at some point, I just sat back and said, I wonder if there's an extraterrestrial collective group who is sort of my PR agent, who is assisting with all of this. And because I was really reticent before, I didn't need a limelight. And then I thought, oh, if it's really for good, like you're saying, if it's really to be a spokesperson for many of these beautiful, benevolent beings, but also for the mission of Earth that we're on right now, that we are about to become part of the galactic community and to assist with that, how could I say no? I could, but what a regret of a lifetime. So I've just, that's now in the past, but it was a bit of a convergence for me. What am I going to do with everything that's happening? And if they still want me to do that and be that, I'm here for it. And it doesn't hurt that I'm like a massive researcher and stuff it takes my breath away, all of what's possible and all of what there is to learn about this amazing cosmos and who we are, the thousands of genetics inside of us from thousands of species throughout time and the manipulation and all the stuff with the DNA and the genetics. I mean, it's so cool. It's really cool.
It is so fascinating.
We are all one.
It is so fascinating, Debbie. Well, I'm afraid to even step on a bug right now. Ever since I learned that we are all one at a near-death experience, an event, and she's talking about, I can't even kill a bug anymore. Yeah. And I think to myself, when I see one, as much as I want to, I also understand we're all one.
I know. And I totally relate to that. When you get to mosquitoes, it's really difficult. If you've ever been bitten a whole bunch. But I know you start learning there are insect, although I don't think they're actually that, but that, who knows their connection to the insectoid races and all of it. It's amazing. Or we have praying mantis show up on our doorstep. It does happen periodically, and it's amazing. It's this whole thing about holding it and connecting with it. They're so gentle and beautiful, these little scientist healers. So yeah, how could you hurt a bug with all that?
That's too cute. These little scientist healers. Okay. That gives me a whole new perspective. So the race that I've had contact with is the tall whites. And it came about years ago at Neil's very first Portal to Ascension in-person conference in 2011. So I blame him for this, but I had this vision the night before. I woke up all night. I was being surrounded by these ETs, and the next day and they were healing me. And the next day I go to Neil's event. It's his very first in-person event. I walk in and there's a table filled with ET structures by, what's her name? It'll come back to me. They were amazing structures. And right there was the one I had been seeing, which was a tall white. And so I took home this statue of a tall white that actually moves by itself, literally talks, literally used to tell me where to go. Neil's met him. All my friends, I used to take him everywhere with me because he'd tell me he wanted to meet these people. Wherever I went, my first plant medicine ceremony had my tall white with me. But years later, he came to my house, and a real tall white showed up in my yard that came over from Joshua Tree. They were just observing me, didn't tell me why they were there, but told me that they have these things called like saucer taxis, a saucer Uber kind of thing, where they just kind of came over the hill to me. It was quite interesting. But so who are the beings that you have the most contact with?
I've had an experience while I was sleeping, definitely left my body and was in another place and time. Now, when I say they were tall and had white light, they're different than what you're describing. And interestingly enough, I had this amazing conversation with Geraldine Orozco, and it was the first time somebody identified to me who they were. So Geraldine has had the exact experience I've had. And for me, I was laying. And, it's almost like a circle of goddesses around me, although they were not feminine. They were not any of that. But they were incredibly advanced. I also felt very much healed. But I will say that, they wanted me to know we see you. We know you. We're your family. We love you. And Geraldine, because she knows my story about the awakening and all that, and she was explaining to me, yeah, these were beings from Maya, from the Pleiades, because she's seen them too. And that was like, oh, so beautiful. The other beings, definitely the lions show up for me a lot. And they're very funny because, I can be talking to somebody, not even about myself, who's a channeler, and out of nowhere, the lion beings will come through them. It's happened with Alexander Quinn. It's happened with Rob Gauthier. It's happened, I have a list of people out of nowhere, and they'll suddenly, like trans-channeling, change and say, we are your lion family. And they'll give me messages. Tell me the next things that are going to happen for me. Tell me, how much they love me. And I feel them. I draw on their strength a lot. I really do. Their ferocity is so beautiful. And I do feel the Elohim nearby. I do feel the angelics. I'm somebody who loves so deeply, so purely. And it can be very difficult to be on this planet sometimes with a heart like mine. And sometimes it's freaking magnificent to be this open and this joyful and all of that stuff. I have gotten hurt a lot in my life. And sometimes I've thought like, it is really weird to navigate being here. Like people are really weird. I don't get it. And that's just, where I really draw strength from them and from that realm. And I'm trying to think of all the beings who have spent time. I am told, and this is not something I know, but I am told very definitively that I have a whole collective, and there are many different species who look after me. Like, it's kind of funny, like my own little galactic federation, like a Debbi federation. And they are really tending to me, helping me. I'm so grateful. And one of them is the Yael. If you know the Yael, the beautiful Yael.
I've heard the name, but I know nothing about them.
The Yael are a species that are hybrids. They are new and yet incredibly advanced. They really are quite beautiful. And the Yael are a mixture of the Sasani and of the human. So they're humans and Sasani mixture. They're stunning, very, 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 very advanced race. They love us because we're their cousins, aunts, uncles, parents, all of that. Many of them are our children, our co-children. And they have great love for humanity. They're very affectionate, wise, fascinating. So I know I've got some from there. It would be beautiful to know all of what that collective is, but they're definitely very engaged in my life. And I think as long as I keep continuing with this, and maybe if I stopped, I don't know, that they'd be involved with me, but the assistance is much appreciated.
It's interesting. So I guess I really became aware of you about a year and a half ago. And I've just watched you over this last year become more Lyran-like, more Leo-like, more, the lion race. It just comes through you, which is such a protective, gorgeous energy.
Thank you, Joan.
And you actually resonated. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm really excited to share the cruise with you. Because if there's one thing I know about the cruise, like when we were down the Nile, it's such a chance for intimate conversations.
Exactly.
To really get to talk to someone that you've just wanted to have heart to heart with. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So let me ask you, I have a few other questions for you. What do you think is going to happen over the next few years? Do you have any sense with disclosure or with humanity itself? Like, where do you see us heading?
Yeah. So I want to say in good faith, really, that there are many points of view and potentially they're all right. I have an acquaintance who is of the draconian lineage. He's on Earth, but he channels them. And he thinks this couldn't be further from the truth, that this doesn't exist. Nobody's ever coming to Earth. The Earth is protected. There are no other races ever going to land here. And all the things in the channelers, it's preposterous. And that's his message. And he has followers who fully believe his message, resonate with his message. And that's beautiful. Then you have a lot of channelers. We know who they are. They've been on my show and they're out there very publicly, very visibly with lots of attendees saying 2026, 2027, unprecedented. What's going to happen? Not like the movies, nothing like the movies. I'll be very interested to see how it will actually take place because they're of such high frequency that it is very hard for them to be in this very dense planet. So I don't know how they will connect with us, but I am quite told that they will. And I am also told that they have informed our governments that they've been waiting, we're just 20 years shy of 80 years. They've been asking various governments, presidents, kings, queens, et cetera, around the world, please start sharing that we exist. And in good faith, they've given technology and other things. in return for these promises. Yes, we will finally tell the people. Now, for example, the Pleiadians have told the government, we've waited long enough. Now we're going to do it our way. And I don't want anyone to hear that that's mean, scary, going to be anything towards humans. No, it's you have taken forever. Now we are going to start to assimilate and let people know we exist. I also understand that every choice, every thought is a timeline that we create. I'm pretty clear the timeline I'm on and choose to be on going forward. It is very possible that there will be many earth splits. And for people that this is untenable, that this is bunk, that this nothing exists outside of us, will continue on that path. It is very possible that those of us who have drunk the Kool-Aid and believe incredibly much that this is a reality for us to finally reconvene, many of us with our galactic families. But can you imagine having conversations with these other species about music, about art, about medicine, about ways of doing things, foods, trees, everything, clothing, everything and anything. It's beautiful. I really do hope that I'm here to experience that and that it's soon. And so besides the timelines, because sorry, there's a lot of information sometimes. And besides the timelines, the ones who are coming really mean us well. It really is an act of love. It really is. You have my genetics in you. I've been watching you forever. I've been hoping for this day. And now let's see what's possible. Maybe interracial marriages, maybe, amazing children and all of that. But something's happening because we know our children right now are being born. Genius, gifts beyond, the autistic with telepathy, all these rainbow amazing children coming up. And I believe they have to be like this. And also they're very freaking tall for some reason, that they have to be like that for what's to come. So I feel like those are some even proof signs that this is about to happen, but it's really soon. So these conversations like what you and I are having, I think they're very important.
Absolutely. Extremely important for the collective, even for us, because I discover more of what I didn't know and learn so much more from all these conversations. So the other place we're going to be together is the New Living Expo. What are you bringing to the New Living Expo, Debbi?
Oh, Mamma Mia. Well, maybe I'll have to do something on, I'll either do, I don't know. I don't really know yet, but I know I'm speaking and it's going to be something shamanic, galactic, some kind of marriage of both of the materials. I do animal spirit medicine with groups and take them through the medicine for shifts and healing. I talk about these things we're talking about. There's so much, so many places. So I will feel what pocket needs to be filled or spoken. And then I'm moderating panels, which I'm so excited about. Neil knows I really do love channeling. And I find not every channeler, but there are channelers out there who are mind-blowing. I've been able to ask them anything and everything and how they've been able to show up the information. So the fact that he has so graciously put together a channeling panel for me, I can't wait to do that. The questions, it's never ending. I'm just going to tell you transparently, on my computer and on my phone, constantly I'm thinking about like the big questions I never know the answers to. And I dictate them in the phone, send them to my computer, and I add them to this really long, ever-growing list of questions so that when a channeler is sitting in front of me, I can pull a portion and oh, that felt so good. I got all those answers. Wow. Sometimes they create more questions. So I know I'll be doing that and another panel and, being there with you, being there with all the attendees, all the other beautiful speakers. There's going to be music. There's going to be vendors. It's our tribe. It's our tribe. It's our time. And I'm so excited for the new blood being pumped into this.
It is. And also there'll be a lot of young people. So we're bringing more and more young people into the UFO field. When I remember years ago, it was just, middle-aged and seniors. And suddenly now a lot of young people are waking up. So it's going to be very lively and very deep. And we've set it up so that there's actually time in between, just meet and greet, talk to people, not racing around, but really absorbing the material. And I'm just excited to be a part of it.
That's so important, Joan. I love that there's integration time, because you get a lot of information if you go from speaker to speaker to speaker to experience. There isn't that assimilation. It can actually be ungrounding. And so I think if, the fact that we'll have lots of capacity to pull back, also meet people, it's one of the joys of doing things like that. And, you make lifelong friends and romantic partners. Who knows what's possible?
All right. Well, I'm getting ready.
Bag is packed.
I've been looking for a long time. But, and yeah, it's true. All I know is that my heart sings when I'm at these gatherings. And my heart sings. I'm open. The connections that happen are just astounding. And I'm sad when we separate, because I feel deeply, deeply connected. And I think that's one of the best things about these gatherings, especially the New Living Expo. I think, it's just going to be the right amount of people, right amount of speakers, and the most profound information. So I definitely appreciate, Debbi, this has been a great interview.
Thank you.
Your work is amazing. You are so luminous. I love your hair, by the way. It's just very Leo the lion. The way you bridge media, the way you do your healing, and your own multidimensional channeled work is amazing. So I'm very grateful to you for being on the show with us today.
Oh, and I'm so grateful in advance of the beautiful time we're going to have together in all of these auspicious, life-changing, timeline-changing events. And I hope anyone who feels the call to this, who's like, oh, I think I'd like to be there. If you feel that, that's a yes. Just get your ticket. Come, as we said on Sunday together, the moment you get the ticket, it all begins anyway, months in advance, which is really good. And I just want to put it out there for folks who are listening, who are like, I'd like to know who I am as a starseed. I'd like to know my galactic lineage. I have a gift for everybody. It's a phenomenal video, if I may say so myself. It is me and my dear friend and beautiful creature, Debbie Solaris. We do this massive video breaking down all these different species, what you look like, what your proclivities are, what your weaknesses are, what probably career you're in, what, all this stuff. Plus you get a report. So please, with my blessings, get your free gift and learn more. It's at debbidachinger.com/starseed. You must spell my name right to get there. Debbi is with an I, no E, and Dachinger with a C. So it's DEBBIDACHINGER.com/starseed. And I hope I meet your galactic self soon.
All right. So just take this link here below and add starseed to it. All right. Well, I'm going to look forward to find out what starseed I am, by the way. So everyone, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being with us and for walking this path of awakening together. And remember, you can join us at the New Living Expo. You can sail with us into the mysteries of Greece, the ancient mystery schools there, and explore all of our events on portaltoascension.org. And if today's conversation stirred something in you, if you're waking up and wanting clarity about your soul vision, reach out to me at joanofangels.com. And remember, expect miracles, everyone, because you were born for us. But that's it for today. We'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to see you. Neil, hello, welcome.
Hey, Joan, good to be here with you. And just wanted to jump on. And, Joan has been interviewing people on our platform for this last month. And today, she's going to be bringing on King Cash. But I just kind of wanted to jump on and just say hi. And thank you, Joan, for doing this and letting everybody know. Joan of Angels and I myself have teamed up on a deep level. She's been telling you about the New Living Expo, telling you about the Mystery School at Sea. But I'm so happy to announce that I have a full-time host, really. And not only that, Joan is helping me produce the New Living Expo. She's interviewing all these people that are coming up at this event. And she's also a really good friend. So today she's going to be interviewing King Cash, who is incredible. You're going to enjoy so much. But I just wanted to come on and just extend my gratitude and just show my face on this channel as well.
Neil, I love seeing your face. I love that introduction. And let's just get started. We have a great guest coming on today.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce King Cash. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So today's guest walks between worlds. King Cash is not just a messenger. He is a bridge to the councils, the star nations, ancient lineages that have guided Earth through countless cycles of evolution, carrying codes from the Pleiades, the Arcturians, the Sirians, Lyrans, and the higher angelic orders. You're going to want to hear his story. Now, I'm Dr. Joan Hangarter, also known as Joan of Angels. I guide awakening souls to remember who they are and activate the blueprint they came here to embody. And when that switch is on, everything in your world changes. I've walked this galactic path for over 45 years now, and I've been working with Portal to Ascension, by the way, on and off ever since 2011. We've had big dreams, cosmic visions, and mystery school excitement. So many years as a doctor, a teacher, a healer, and a channel, I know one truth. When you remember who you are, your entire life begins to shift. Now, if you feel that awakening stirring in you, you can book a free soul vision consultation at joanofangels.com. Now, I want to introduce you to the most amazing King Cash. Now, King Cash, Neil, we have to stop. Somehow I cut it out.
No, I'll edit that part out. You can continue, and I'll just edit that part out. Okay.
Okay. I can't believe I just edited. I moved it, and I don't have it. I don't mean for you to have to do all this editing. Okay. All right, everyone. I am truly excited about today's guest. He is quite powerful. King Cash is a powerful, multidimensional bridge. He's a clairvoyant, clairsentient, galactic communicator whose abilities began awakening through near-death level spiritual seizures at the age of 13. He works directly with the angels, spirit guides, ancestors, extraterrestrials, and his own Lyran star family, upgrading his consciousness in real time and mapping the astral realms like most of us navigate a familiar city. His following is massive. His impact on young starseeds is undeniable, and his role with the Galactic Federation of Light has made him a voice for this generation's awakening. Cash, welcome to the show. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to see you. Neil, hello, welcome.
Hey, Joan, good to be here with you. And just wanted to jump on. And, Joan has been interviewing people on our platform for this last month. And today she's going to be bringing on King Cash. But I just kind of wanted to jump on and just say hi. And thank you, Joan, for doing this and letting everybody know. Joan of Angels and I myself have teamed up on a deep level. She's been telling you about the New Living Expo, telling you about the Mystery School at Sea, but I'm so happy to announce that I have a full-time host, really, and not only that, Joan is helping me produce the New Living Expo. She's interviewing all these people that are coming up at this event, and she's also a really good friend. So today she's going to be interviewing King Cash, who is incredible. You're going to enjoy so much. But I just wanted to come on and just extend my gratitude and just show my face on this channel as well.
Neil, I love seeing your face. I love that introduction. And let's just get started. We have a great guest coming on today.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce King Cash. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So today's guest walks between worlds. King Cash is not just a messenger. He is a bridge to the councils, the star nations, ancient lineages that have guided Earth through countless cycles of evolution, carrying codes from the Pleiades, the Arcturians, the Sirians, Lyrans, and the higher angelic orders. You're going to want to hear his story. Now, I'm Dr. Joan Hangarter, also known as Joan of Angels. I guide awakening souls to remember who they are and activate the blueprint they came here to embody. And when that switch is on, everything in your world changes. I've walked this galactic path for over 45 years now, and I've been working with Portal to Ascension, by the way, on and off ever since 2011. We've had big dreams, cosmic visions, and mystery school excitement. So many years as a doctor, a teacher, a healer, and a channel, I know one truth. When you remember who you are, your entire life begins to shift. Now, if you feel that awakening stirring in you, you can book a free soul vision consultation at joanofangels.com. Now, I want to introduce you to the most amazing King Cash. Now, King Cash, Neil, we have to stop. Somehow I cut it out of this.
I'll edit that part out. You can continue, and I'll just edit that part out. Okay.
Okay. I can't believe I just edited. I moved it, and I don't have it. I don't mean for you to have to do all this editing. Okay. All right, everyone. I am truly excited about today's guest. He is quite powerful. King Cash is a powerful, multidimensional bridge. He's a clairvoyant, clairsentient, galactic communicator whose abilities began awakening through near-death level spiritual seizures at the age of 13. He works directly with the angels, spirit guides, ancestors, extraterrestrials, and his own Lyran star family, upgrading his consciousness in real time and mapping the astral realms like most of us navigate a familiar city. His following is massive. His impact on young starseeds is undeniable, and his role with the Galactic Federation of Light has made him a voice for this generation's awakening. Cash, welcome to the show.